Hi, welcome everybody. We're here at the Jenney Interpretive Center, and we're going to meet our host, Nancy Martin, and also Leo Martin. And they're going to tell us a little bit about the 400-year reunion of John Jenney in America in Plymouth. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Leo.
Hello.
We are very excited to be here and to meet our guests. Nancy, would you tell us a little bit about the reunion? First of all, when is it?
Well, hi everybody. We're very excited to have you come, and we hope that you will, and invite other Jenney descendants. It is August 6th, 4, 5, and 6. Friday night is a Pilgrim Progress that you are able to dress up as a pilgrim and participate. You don't need a costume, we provide it. That's at 6 p.m. You can get all this information later, but I'm trying to entice you and let you know what we're doing. So that's Friday, and then Saturday you will be going on a wonderful walking tour with Leo. We'll be having a meet and greet here at the Jenney. It'll be a little light lunch. We will be going at the grist mill, which is right next door, and you will be having a presentation that Leo will be giving you about John Jenney. And then we will be going to the 1620. If we can get the right amount of numbers of people, we'll be having a nice dinner there. We have a special surprise guest for you, which I'm not going to announce.
You can tell them.
Oh, I can?
You can tell them.
Okay, so we have Sarah Jenney coming to speak to you guys.
Now, who's Sarah Jenney, for anybody who doesn't know?
I didn't tell you that. John Jenney. Well, we're celebrating the 400th arrival of John Jenney and Sarah, his wife, and their family when they came over on the little James.
Now, if she's going to be here, she must be over 400 years old, right?
She's really old. Yeah, she's really old, and but she has a baby with her as well. She is bringing I think, was John their firstborn? I'm not sure what the name of the firstborn was, but she's bringing her baby, so you'll be able to meet the baby as well, and that should be an exciting conversation with Sarah.
So Sarah is the interpreter who plays Sarah Jenney at the Plymouth plantation.
Right.
So people really need to make reservations. Part of the program is going to be all inclusive, and then parts of it are kind of optional. We have to have 47 people for the dinner. So if we can't get that, we might try to plan something optional, right?
Yeah. We really need to get the numbers first. Once we get the numbers, we can give you a price of this is what it's going to cost for the all-inclusive. And then there is, of course, Plymouth Cruises you can go on your own. The Howland House is also available for you to visit on your own. So we need the numbers, and then we will decide if we're going to have a dinner at the 1620 or if we're going to have a little something here at the Jenney, or everybody just goes off on their own for a dinner. But I do have to let you know that dining in Plymouth is really hard to get in. So if we can get the numbers up, we'll be in the best place for you to have the best event you can have.
Oh, good. I was wondering if we could take a little break and perhaps go to the captain's quarters downstairs, and perhaps I could ask you some more questions about John Jenney and his significance. Would that be okay?
That would be great. Let's do it.
How long have you been in this John Jenney study?
Nancy and I have been doing this for 22 years. In May, we had our 22nd anniversary between doing the grist mill and doing this building. We've been here 22 years.
Now, who was John Jenney, and tell me about who he was and what his significance is.
Well, it's kind of funny. The significance of John Jenney is huge, but he doesn't get the credit that he deserves for two reasons. Number one, he didn't come on the Mayflower, and unless you come on the Mayflower, you're not considered a pilgrim. And number two, a guy named Nathaniel Morton came on the Little James with John Jenney, and he was the scribe here in Plymouth. He kept all the notes, and he made the statement about John Jenney. John Jenney, who was a godly man, though otherwise a plain man, yet singular for publicness of spirit, setting himself to promote and seek the common good of the plantation. And because he wrote that he was a plain man, people take that as kind of an insult, but it's not. When it meant he plainly had the focus of the plantation in mind, and to make it a success, and he actually started capitalism in our country. But if you want to take a step back to where he was a separatist. He left England, he went to Holland as with the separatist movement. But in England, he was a brewer of beer, which made him very important, because in England at that time, you couldn't drink the water. It was not drinkable, so they purified the water by brewing beer. So if you were a brewer's man like John Jenney was, you were almost considered royalty.
We'll wrap this up soon, but can you tell us what we might expect to see on the walking tour?
Well, on the walking tour, you need to know this house, the Jenney Interpretive Center, is on the original site of Plymouth Plantation. So I take you along Town Brook, where the plantation, the reason the Pilgrims stayed here was Town Brook. I take you to all the monuments in Plymouth, through the Brewster Gardens, where William Brewster owned his land. We see the Pilgrim Maiden, that represents the 14 single women, the Pilgrim Mother, the 18 married women, statue of William Bradford and Massasoit, and the sarcophagus, where the first pilgrims who died were buried, and they are in that sarcophagus up on the Coles Hill. Then we go up Leiden Street, the original site of plantation. We see some places where the Pilgrims lived, and then we go up to Burial Hill, where the first fort was built, and we can turn and look down on where the plantation was. Burial Hill is 160 feet above sea level. They built their first fort up there so that they could pop a cannonball 1.5 miles out to sea and protect themselves from attack from the Spaniards and the French.
The story of this building, passed down from the previous owner, was that perhaps some of the wood from the original fort came here. Can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, this house was built in 1749, so it's not a really old house. But it is said the beams above our heads here were cut in 1622, and they came from the original fort built by the Pilgrims. They took the fort down and built this house with the beams. Also, we have 8 fireplaces in the house, and it's said that they were all made with ballast bricks used as ballast coming from Europe in the 1600s. So these bricks were handmade in the 1600s and were brought here, and they were used to build all our fireplaces. That's why there's so many bricks in Plymouth. They were used as ballast. Folks, would love you to come to Plymouth, America's hometown, and see how your country began. I have people that come here, organizations that call this hallowed ground, because this is exactly where your ancestors and John Jenney walked the earth, did what they did, and founded our country. So please, come to us and enjoy a weekend with your ancestors.